Welcome back everyone to our Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages. Last episode, Maverick found himself in the Zora Kingdom. And in the past, turns out the Zora King is really sick, and there's no medicine to heal him. Thankfully though, Maverick can travel through time, and he was able to travel through time to head to the present, where he's able to get a magic potion from Syrup the Witch. And that turned out to heal the King Zora. So before, there was no King Zora in the present because he died in the past because of that illness. But now let's see how we've affected time now that we healed the Zora King in the past. The king looked at the key to Eyeglass Isle Library far to the east. That stairway leads to the throne room. Watch your manners while before the king. Our ruler, King Zora, sits in the rear. Take care not to be discourteous. The king is a very open Zora. Feel free to speak to him about anything. Alright, let's go talk with him. Great healer, what do you ask? You wish to enter Jabu-Jabu? My permission is needed to enter Jabu-Jabu, but I can't permit just anyone to see our guardian. Anyhow, the filthy seawater has left Jabu-Jabu near death. If you say you must, then find a way to get rid of this filthy seawater and save Jabu-Jabu. Will you accept this quest? So, in the past we had to heal the Zora King. In the present here, we're going to have to heal Jabu-Jabu. So, unfortunately, it's not as easy as just giving him a potion. It's going to require a long, centuries-long healing, because to heal Jabu-Jabu, who was just a small little baby fish back in the past, we're gonna have to clear this dirty seawater in the past, so that way he doesn't live 400 years in dirty seawater. So the King Zora had the key to this library, but there's no keyhole, so we're just gonna have to go into the past, where there actually will be a keyhole. And I put my teleporter here in a dumb place, so I'm gonna warp back to the present after I open the door. And I guess nobody closed the door after 400 years because it's still open here in the present. And normally you would just, I can go here and talk to people now, which I'll do. I am studying the cause of the filthy seawater. It seems to have suddenly become polluted hundreds of years ago, but I have learned nothing more. Welcome, this is the Eyeglass Isle. Long ago, fairy powder was kept in this very library. However, at some point in the past, someone took it away, and now none remains. I'd normally talk with people in the past first. Have you heard of fairy powder? Fairy powder turns cursed queen back to her original shape. They say that the fairy powder was kept in the back long ago. I don't know if it's true or not, but it sure is romantic. Yeah, I can already read. The fairy queen who keeps the sea clean. That's my favorite story. There used to be something back for seeing things away, but now it's just one crinkled old book. So you normally actually go in the past, learn about the fairy queen, and there's fairy powder still there, and then we're going to teleport back to the present here to get that book, because we're going to learn the purpose of that book here in the past. Those who have seen a strange beast on the isle to the west say the beast is always there, never attacks, and just stares as if asking for help. Some even claim it speaks. It's nonsense. This is the Eyeglass Isle Library. Fairy powder is said to be stolen in the back, but I've yet to see it. Fairy powder is locked away in back. Without another book of seals, no one can reach the powder. By the way, what is fairy powder? It's that orange juice behind that green scholar. The fairy queen used to live on the island west of here, but she vanished recently. Surely the fairy queen could do something for these seas. Well, we learned from the present that the fairy queen who cleans the seas. That kid can read that book. So that book is probably based on real life events, and those real life events, well, Maverick's going to make them come to pass here. First, he's going to warp back to the present here, just to show that how you get onto this island. But there's no reason to get on this island without the fairy queen. This cave is empty, and it's even empty even after you do the fairy queen mini quest. So it's kind of pointless. We already unlocked that map area from when we swam by it. But in the past here, rather than the Fairy Queen, we have this Octorok. But it's more than just an Octorok. Please listen, young one. You may not believe this, but I am the Queen Fairy, guardian of the sea. The curse of an evil one named Varen has made me appear so. The magic of fairy powder can turn me back to normal. Varen has poisoned the sea. Soon all living things in it will perish. Please go find some fairy powder. Well, not soon, because 400 years later there's still things living in the sea. But yeah, not good. Can't keep it this problem going on. So let's work back to the present, and we'll grab that copy of the sealed book from the present, take it back to the past, and then see what the purpose of the sealed book is. So let's head to the back, and there's a scholar back here. This is the Book of Seals. It was once part of a set, but now only this one remains. How they were used as an internal puzzle. You say you can solve the riddle of this book? Ho ho, this should be interesting. I give you the Book of Seals. You got the Book of Seals. There's no one else back here. So now we're going to go back to the past, where there was, in the back of the library, there was a platform that said was for putting a book on. So we're going to put the Book of Seals on that. And we're going to basically learn that the Book of Seals is basically just like a navigation system. So we have a little puzzle that's going to be here. It's a podium for holding the book. Place the Book of Seals here. Yes. 4 to the right, 2 up, and then 2 to the right. So basically, the floor is invisible, and you basically have to read the book, and it'll tell you where to go, and then you just follow the pattern that the book tells you. And that'll take you to the next book, which will tell you the next pattern to go and follow. And look at, there's all these torches and blank spots on the wall. That'll help you count. So yeah, I wrote down the passage, and then I'm now just following it from my notes. I don't know if it's randomized in every game. There's the most complicated one. Yeah, if you forget it, you can always just read the book again. Unfortunately, if you fall in the pit, you have to restart all over again. Like, you can't just go from the left of that platform there and jump over to where we know there's a platform. You have to redo it all again. You have done well to make it so far. I acknowledge your courage and offer you this. We got the fairy powder. It removes curses. Continue on without fear. Do not forget your courage. We don't have to go back, but yeah. See the mace is open again. No reason to go back though. Let's go back to the Fairy Queen and use that fairy powder on her. And then she'll be able to, once we work our magic, she'll work her magic. So we sprinkle the powder on her. She turns into a Fairy Queen, which just looks like a normal fairy. And now she can cleanse the seeds of evil. So she fulfills the story that's in that book that kid read. The Fairy Queen who cleans the seas. And the seas still look kind of dark, but all these pink circles that hurt you when you touch them, they'll all disappear now, which makes pretty much the sea like open. We can go pretty much anywhere now in the sea. We don't have to do like how when we first got to the Zora village in the last episode, we had to travel between the present and the past to navigate different obstacles. So yeah, the sea is mainly opened up now. At least the Zora Sea. That Sea of Storms between the Zora Kingdom and the Crescent Island, it's still inaccessible to us. There's that one Zora there, and he said you can't let somebody unskilled like us into that sea. So, well, now that we have cleaned the sea, we can go back and get permission from King Zora in the present to enter Jabu-Jabu. But before we do that, like I said, Jabu-Jabu is the next dungeon, and it's kind of long. It's long enough that I won't be able to finish it all in this episode, but it's short enough that I should be able to finish it in just one episode. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to just use this time to farm those gacha trees that I planted. And I also need to go and get a potion from Syrup, because the potion I had I used to heal King Zora. It's always good to have a potion on hand. Normally you should tend to get them, I've always gotten them from just maple drops. But I don't expect to run into too many encounters with maple before I go to Jabu-Jabu, so I'm just going to be safe and buy the potion here. Gotta spend my rupees on something. Also buy that gacha seed there. Although I won't be planting any gacha seeds anywhere except for in the past, south of the Toki statue in Crescent Island. Because like I said, that is the one tree that can get us level 5 rings. And I need some level 4, level 5. I need 3 level 4 rings, 2 level 5 rings, 2 level 1 rings, 2 level 2 rings, and 5 level 3 rings. The rings 1 through 3 I can get at the shop, the treasure shop, and I can do that off screen. And that'll of course help me get toward the goal of appraising 100 rings. Let's get you a free ring from Vasu. And these I might get one of these rings that I need from these trees here. None of those rings, at least none of the 4 to 5 rings, because like I said, none of these trees give that. And I might get a level 1 through 3 ring from these trees. We planted them on the highlands here. Head back. We also have 2 other Gashu seeds planted. One at that level 5 tree that I mentioned on Crescent Island in the past, and then also in the past in the Zora Kingdom. So we're gonna farm all them. Now those, the last 2 that I just spoke of, they were planted really late, so I didn't defeat a lot of enemies between when they were planted, because I was just hanging out in the Zora village. So I'm going to, while I'm heading to this tree, I'm going to just fight a bunch of enemies around here, farm a maple encounter, and like I said, this is a good place to farm maple encounters. We have those 2 screens where or 3 screens where there's 10 enemies between all 3 of them, and enemies reset when you go to the past or present. So yeah, just clearing them out will get you a maple encounter. She defeats every 30 enemies. So if you have the maple ring, it's only 15, so you can really farm maple encounters. But I'm not really going to be farming them. I do need to farm them eventually though, because I need to get a heart piece from Maple. She still hasn't dropped a heart piece yet, but there is a chance that, you know, just not farming her, she might drop it during one of those times. But if she doesn't drop it by the time, you know, I'm ready to beat the game, then of course I'll have to do the farming. These enemies here. We also need to get the gacha, the heart piece from the gacha tree, but that is can only come from level 4 gacha trees. So there's a good chance that we'll end up getting that when we're trying to farm the class 4 and class 5 rings from that tree. Yeah, we need, like I said, 5 level 4 rings, 2 level 2 level 5 rings, and then that heart piece. So, like I said, the best place to, of course, farm will be that tree that can give level 4 and 5 rings. So all the gacha seeds are planted there. And these are those screens that I talked about. There's 4 enemies on this one, 5 on this one, and then 1 on the one to the west here. So that's 10 enemies, and then we can just head down to this room here. warp to the present or past, depending on where you are, and then go fight the enemies again. So all the enemies here will be in the past, and if we come back here and use that warp tile again, we'll go back to the present, and all the enemies will be there. So we've got a maple encounter. And then if you get a maple encounter, you just head back to the screen again after the maple encounter, and you can get the enemies will appear again. No hug piece. Darn. Finish off these enemies here. The level 2 sword, you can take them out in one hit. See the enemies will respawn here. And that was 20 enemies right there, which is half the enemies we need to get the Gasha seed to mature. 20 enemies will make the Gasha seed turn into a big tree, and then 20 more will make the big tree sprout the seed that you need. So right here we just got 30, and then we defeat those knights on the way to get the first tree. So all those trees that we planted, even though we planted them late, they'll be ready to bloom. So let's go grab them. Warp to the present here, and then warp back to the past. Remember, the scent seed tree doesn't exist in the past. We had to plant a sapling back then. So we went from the Tokay game. That's a rough game. Toward the end. And there's a little sapling that we planted. And let's head over and see the tree that we planted. We need to find that Tokay Eye then. That'll get us to Dungeon 8. That's not actually Dungeon 8, but at least it leads you to where Dungeon 8 is. But like, it's a really good place for farming, because we can farm the, we can plant the seed here, head into that cave, and there's a bunch of like little tiny bats and stuff in there. Finish them off real quick, and then head out and have the head back into the cave, fight them again. By then, after a few turns, the tree will mature, especially if you're using the Gasha seed ring, which is one of the rings that I need to get. That's a level 3 ring. That cuts the requirement in half to get a Gasha tree to grow. So I just got a few little map tiles here I want to clear out. One right here. Now that all the poison water is gone, it's easier to do that. Now, like I said, we can get permission from King Zora to enter Jabu-Jabu. But I want to do a little map clearing here, and then I'll clear out the rings, because like I said, Jabu-Jabu, we'll do him in the next episode. Thanks to you, our seawater's clean again, and Jabu-Jabu's health has returned. All is well. I never go back on my word. I dub you Zora Hero and permit you to enter Jabu-Jabu. You may go see Jabu-Jabu. Unfortunately, being Zora Hero doesn't give us access to the Storm of Seas that Zora in the past is. Because I guess, he's in the past. How would he know that we've been dubbed hero? We're gonna have to find some other way to prove that we're a skilled adventurer to convince that Zora to let us in. But let's clear out this one little map tile that we're missing here. 2 to the north. And there we go. Nothing there. Thought I could maybe get onto that island. Like I said, I'm going to use the Gale Seeds to head back to Labrina City, and I will get my rings appraised. I have a whole bunch of them, and then between episodes I will just do farming at the treasure game to get the level 1, the class 1, 2, and 3 rings that I'm missing. So, just got a whole bunch of rings. now I can save my game, and this is where I'll meet you in the next episode. Take care, have a good one. See you next episode where I go to Jabu-Jabu. Bye.